This show is brought to you by HostBaby.com, web hosting for musicians.
Here on episode 50 of Music Marketing Monday, it's a family affair. That's right. That's the topic. How do you work with your family members, with your spouse, with your significant other? How do you collaborate with your kids or your parents or, heck, maybe your brothers, your cousins? I don't know. It's a big family reunion, family affair. Let's dive in. Are you ready? We are. Let's go.
Information. Inspiration, motivation for the modern musicpreneur.
Time to start your week right.
Here it comes, Music Marketing Monday, with your host, Bob Baker,
Mr. Buzz Factor,
and Billy Gryzak.
The Music Marketing Mind.
Ready? Are you sure?
Set.
Here it comes. Swing, baby.
You know, we really like you. You're like family to us. That's right. When you're part of the family, you do a favor for us, we do a favor for you, and that's the way things work. One big happy family, yes. Wait a minute. What the? Am I doing like the Godfather here? I'm sorry, man. It's episode 50. Dude, it's a party, man. Yay.
It's a milestone.
Milestone, yeah. Hey, this is Billy Gryzak, formerly known as the Music Marketing Mind. More about that later. And over there in the corner, it's the Don himself.
Hey, it's Bob Baker here. I want to make you an offer you can't refuse.
That's right, man. That's right. Bob Baker, Mr. Buzz Factor. Still Mr. Buzz Factor after all these years, man.
Still, and I'm going to cling to that till I can't cling anymore, maybe.
Yeah, I know. I'm kind of like the, David Bowie of music. Wait a minute, David Bowie is the David Bowie of music. No, that doesn't work. But you know me, man. I'm always kind of reinventing and changing and moving on, and I'm kind of doing that right now. I've, like I said, I don't want to make this all about me right now, but yeah, I'm going through a lot of changes. Maybe at the end of the show we could talk about it. But right now, one of the big changes I've been making is actually going back to my roots and working with my family in the music business full time. And we had been throwing this idea around for a while, to talk about what it's like working with family members. And it seems like today would be a good time to do that on the milestone episode.
I think so, yeah, because and for the past several years, I have a lot of my music activities have been in a collaboration with my girlfriend of 9+ years, Pookie, who I've mentioned here and there. And so, yeah, I think we both have something to offer working with other people, whether they're family, blood relatives or significant others or whatever. But yeah, this is, your family, you have a lineage of people that have, your parents, your grandparents were full-time musicians. So this is kind of a lifelong thing of yours, isn't it?
Yeah, for me, it's kind of interesting. It's like I started out, I was born. Well, I guess most of us are born, or perhaps maybe hatched. I was hatched into a family that probably already had like 50 years or so into the business when I showed up. My grandfather had a big band and he played different instruments and he played music. And then my dad was like a jazz musician that worked with some famous people like Dizzy Gillespie, Stan Getz, and he was an arranger for Rosemary Clooney, and did all the big shows and everything. And then I showed up, and when I first started playing music, my mom sang and my dad played, and then my grandfather was in the band for a while. And then as time went on, I met my wife and found out she was a musician, singer person, and we were on the road for like 20 years together. Then we had kids. Now my son is my full-time drummer. My daughter plays drums. She's done gigs with me going on the road. And now we've kind of put together a new family band where my wife is back in the mix and my son and me. So yeah, I've got a lot of experience playing with family members, man, both, either married to or in bloodline. So I have a few things to say about this. Let me tell you.
It sounds like most of your history, or throughout your history, I guess, in music, you've been doing that. And what is the new family band, the most recent incarnation? What is that called?
The most recent thing that we're doing right now is called M80, and it's a 1980s pop retro band. So we've been doing a lot of road dates. We've been going out to North Dakota, Minnesota, things like that. In fact, I'm headed out to North Dakota tomorrow or the next day for a little bit. And yeah, a lot of traveling.
Is M80 a reference to the firework, the explosive, the giant firecracker thing?
No, it stands for music of the 80s. So,
okay.
But there is that tie in that, like, we're an explosive group. So yeah, and our logo is very reminiscent of the old MTV logo, where I've taken the TV out and put 80 in. So it's like a big M with an 80.
Oh,
so it's pretty cool.
Awesome. So if somebody and so I actually, I mentioned in recent years, several, been collaborating with my girlfriend, but prior to that, I was a total freelancer, independent contractor. I always played in bands. I can't remember any other time playing. I think this is the only time I've performed with a significant other. I have a very small family, so I never played with any family members. And I'll just share this, and maybe I think what the crux of this show, what I imagine it to be, even though they always take on a life of their own, is how do you work with that dynamic, mixing your personal life with the business of music and all that. But I know it was an odd transition for me, because I had never done that. So I was like in uncharted waters. Of course I'm the DIY independent guy. So I always wrote songs on my own, and I could take a song or a show if I was playing solo in any direction I wanted to, and suddenly I had to get agreement with other people, and they had ideas that at first I went, well, wait a second, that's not my original intention with this song. And so there was a little time there when I was slightly resistant.
Oh, that's a bunch of baloney, Bob. My family, I make all the decisions and everything's done my way, unless my wife says something different.
Right, we know who the real boss is. So, but I have learned over that. Yeah, I've eased into that collaborative thing, and we have to sort of figure out. There are some songs that I write where I think this is probably going to be one that's a solo song. It's not going to be a duo. And we also run a choir, so there's 3 types of songs I can write these days. Ones that I can just do on my own as a solo artist, ones that we do as a duo, and then ones that we write for our choir. They're all kind of different things, and so navigating that and determining, respecting each other's creative input, because I would probably be prone to just take a song and run with it, and she's going, wait a second, I thought this was we were both doing this, and I had to go, oh yeah. But I really like the way this is going here. So, but how do you navigate that, having done it? Maybe you're just more used to it because you've always done it, or is there that thing, that tightrope that you have to walk?
I'm not sure I understand the question exactly.
So how do you balance everyone's creative needs, the roles that they play, working with each other, and without stepping on toes or somebody feeling like they're left out of it? You know what I mean?
That's a good question. Yeah, especially when you're talking about working with people that you spend pretty much, all your time with. That's really difficult. It's like, my son's godparents, they're in the plumbing business, and they're all in that business together, and sometimes it gets a little heated because just family dynamics in general, right, Bob? Right. What I mean? Can you imagine? Now you haven't done this, but imagine you've got your kids, your wife, girlfriend, significant other, and all that, and you're living together 24 hours a day, and you're going out and doing gigs, and you know how bands and gigs are anyway. What I mean? It can get pretty heated as it is. I think one of the biggest problems that you have is not taking your personal issues onto stage,
right,
or into the studio, and vice versa, not bringing your band and music issues home with you afterwards. You know what I'm saying? There's a band called Oasis. Have you heard of Oasis?
The brothers?
Yeah, and I mean, these guys apparently fight, and when I say fight, I mean like fist fight. You know what I mean? And I guess one of the biggest downloads for a while on YouTube was them in the studio just like going at it and beating the crap out of each other while they were in a studio. Now, we've never quite had that in my family, but I can see where it could happen. Here's the thing, I guess one of the things I'd like to talk about, I mean, if you have the opportunity, especially in this day and age with the music business kind of the way it is and budgets being what they are and stuff, it could make good business sense to work with a family member. Do you agree with that?
It could. Yeah, I was actually thinking about this a thought that occurred to me that I think ties into this. I mean, there are tensions that happen between collaborators in music and bands, regardless if they're blood relatives or not. The only difference is you generally can't. You can leave a band and never see those people anymore.
This is true.
With your with your family members, hopefully you don't do that with them over a squabble over music or a creative difference, and so you are intertwined with them for life. For the most part, and so it's a different. Yeah, I think there's more pressure on you or motivation to make it work and not let it tarnish things outside of the band situation.
Right. So, I mean, like some of the pluses, I think are, let's say, for instance, let's say now you have a duo with Pookie and Kathy and I do a duo occasionally also. Now, one of the nice things about that is if you go to do a show and rooms are required, well, if the buyer's covering it, they don't have to buy 2 rooms, or if you're paying for the rooms, you don't have to buy 2 rooms. Hopefully you're speaking to each other, you stay in the same room. Okay. So right off the bat, I mean, that's really great. You know what I mean? And then there's also the combined income, thing with a family, so that from a monetary standpoint and from a business standpoint, that's probably not too bad. You know what I mean? Right off the bat, I think that's one of the pluses to working with, family members. One of the other pluses, of course, is generally speaking, you can count on the family more than you can some schmo you got off the street. You know what I'm saying? I mean, in any given situation, you can be close to people, but you can't be closer than you are to your own blood relatives or, your significant others. You follow where I'm coming from?
Yeah, I mean, I think your relationship with other musicians that are not part of it's all over the map. Some people you become lifelong friends with because you really click and you have all these great shared experiences of performing music.
But they're still not your family, though.
Right. And so, and other people, it's all, but you're definitely connected with your family members more. And what a great memory, or what a great shared experience to even make that bond more significant because you've created this thing together, especially when you have a great gig. I guess sharing it with your family as opposed to telling them about it later, is probably it's a lot more meaningful.
Absolutely, and also another one of the really wonderful benefits of doing this with your family, if you're traveling, as I do quite a bit, and I have over the years. I've played it. I don't know if you noticed, but I've played in 49 states. I've not done Hawaii yet.
Oh, you got to do that, man.
Yeah, it's the only state I haven't actually performed in. But what's really great for me is, I take, Kathy and Will, and then sometimes my daughter, even if she's not playing, she'll tag along and go on these road trips with us. And I mean, the opportunity to just go out there and see things and do things like when we go out, my daughter especially, she loves to do things. So we're always finding, museums and sightseeing, and she's just really into that kind of stuff,
Mm-hmm. And I found that's an interesting point. I didn't think about it. I know that's something that Pookie and I do, and it's with music gigs, but also with my own workshops that I give for marketing and other things. But there's 2 ways that you can handle this travel thing. One is if you book. I think what you're talking about is when you book a paying gig in a certain state or area of the country. When you go there, you have the added benefit of being able to sightsee and check out, find out. Connect with friends in the area or make new friends in the area, but also check out the sites and places that you maybe have never seen before, and again experience that as a family. There's another way of doing it where you figure out where you want to, a place you've always wanted to visit or go on vacation as a family, and then do your research and try to book gigs in that area. So it can happen both ways.
Oh, I do that all the time. In fact, for years, we had a standing gig down in Florida where we would go down there for like 2 weeks, and that was really, really wonderful, So, yeah, that's another really great thing about, working with your family, Now, I've never really done the brother and sister thing, so I have a feeling, and I might be wrong, but just based on how my son and my daughter interact with each other, I would guess, and I'd like for some people to chime in on this one, I would guess it's a little more difficult to do the brother-sister sibling band than it is to do the children or the significant other band. I'm just spitballing here, but that's what I think.
You mean like the Jackson 5 and the Osmonds didn't really, they didn't hold